I guess we also have to talk about how exactly the whack incident went down. So first, I would like to speak on how our conversation went down in the lead up to it. I was definitely the mastermind of this idea in the sense that, you know, Whack had made it clear that he was down to do a podcast with Doughboy. I told Moose, I'm like, don't worry, just pull up. It'll be good. He's not going to do anything. I'll make sure he doesn't do anything. It'll be good. Moose pulls up, hits Whack with like
the death stare,
a little bit more of an intense vibe than maybe like any of us really expected in terms of just staring at him and sort of like, you know, I forget exactly what you said, but like you were like, I'm here. Like I think Whack's guiding principle is really like he wants everybody to be scared of him and he wants everybody to show him respect.
Yeah.
And you really were not giving that in that moment.
Now, let's talk about that, right? Whack wants everybody to scare him, be scared of him, and show him respect. Hey, listen. But he doesn't have that type of structure. He doesn't have that type of allure about him. So everybody's not going to fear you. And if they did fear you, somebody would do something to you. Seriously, and it would be bad. Or they would send you to jail. Something would happen. When you have people that feared of you, something always comes out bad of it. Just how Whack sent Big U to jail. Because he was scared of Big U. That's why he sent him to jail. He was scared. Straight up. Somebody's scared of you, they gonna go to the police. But Whack is trying a manipulation game when he really don't want the action. He really don't want to get active because we haven't seen Whack do anything to a gang member or somebody that was on that. We always seen the after effect of what happened to him. Straight up. We always seen the after effect of what happened to him. Tiny draws, smack fire out of it. Facts. J-Rock, put him to bed. Night-night. Betty bye-bye. Wake up, put the pepper under his nose. Gotta get him right. We gotta get down. All that shit. We ain't never seen, and Whack has never said it. Let's just be real. Can we keep this a buck? We've never heard Whack say about any gang member that he put hands on. Can we keep it a buck? He told us about Stitches. He told us about the white guys that he put his hands on and, you know, that was a play. But we ain't heard no reputable gang members that Whack said he put to bed. Not one. If somebody know one, name him. If anybody knows one reputable gang member that's active in that get down that Whack put his hands on, somebody tell me, because I've never heard it. All we heard is stories about people that wasn't on that. And the gang members and the people that's on that, we heard they put hands on him. If we being real. So we only got to look at it one way. Dude, you ain't like that. You want people to believe you like that, but you not like that because you ain't got none of that under your belt. You told everybody about these imaginary shootouts and these imaginary shit that you've been locked up for the homicides and all that shit. You told us about the imaginary shit. We heard that. But you ain't say such and such from over here. Yeah, I'll put him to bed. You ain't say that. But we do hear you say, oh, this nigga's supposed to be snitching. You sent Big U to jail. That's the shit we hear from you. This how we know you foo-fafi, Whack. Facts.
Did like go silent as soon as I came in, so I didn't really like that. That kind of caught me off guard. I thought it was like we're gonna kind of start yelling at each other, you know, maybe start arguing over the points that I had, or he was gonna yell at me for saying whatever I said, but he just kind of froze, and that caught me off guard. So I'm like, I guess I'm just gonna wait for, you know, whatever he has to say. And but obviously he took that wrong. You know what I mean?
Man, I listen. I'm gonna tell both y'all. Y'all was tripping for that whole shit, and I feel like I feel like no,
you're not.
Hey yo, I'm tired of Doughboy. I ain't even gonna hold you. I'm tired of Doughboy. I don't even like this dude. I ain't gonna lie. I do not like Doughboy at all. The boy Mooseman came there to talk and do a podcast, and you so stuck with your head inside of Wax pants, you done put your head under his basketball shorts through the crack that you saying, man, both of y'all. Man, oh yeah, both of y'all. Wack couldn't even have a conversation with the boy because he knew that the boy was going to out-talk him. He knew that. So, of course, he wasn't going to have a conversation with him. He didn't want to be embarrassed because the boy was going to have an intellectual conversation that he couldn't deal with mentally. So he had to go there. It wasn't going to be nothing about gang snitch this. That's all Wax conversations consist of. On the dead homies who snitched and what he used to do back in 1980. Straight up. That's all you hear from Wack. What he used to do in 1980 and who was snitching and all this old fake gangster stories. Like, I'm just being real. I'm tired of Doughboy. Yeah. Hey, Adam, you can get rid of Doughboy. Yeah, you can get rid of him. I'm tired of him.
You're gonna gaslight me today.
No, I'm not trying to gaslight you. I'm telling you what it really is. I feel like, yes, I knew, you know what I'm saying, that y'all was planning on. I thought maybe you knew something that I didn't know, but I never felt right about it. Like, Moose, I'm just being 100. You was talking crazy. And
but I don't think so.
No, but let me tell you why.
But you've been representing me way different than it really was.
Okay,
every conversation that I had that had anything to do with, turning something down or physical was people on podcasts asking me hypothetically saying, hey, Moose, I can tell you're just trying to pod. Mm-hmm. Even with you right. Baited me into saying some shit, and now you're trying to turn it on me now.
What do you mean?
You said, that Wax said he was going to slap the shit out you. What did you think I should say to that, Doughboy?
I'm just telling you what he said.
Just tell me what I should have said, because you said I was tripping by my answer. Tell me what I should have said.
I'm going to tell you, you can say whatever you want to say, but I was trying to identify, like, are you sure you know what you're doing? This man said he ain't playing. He said he going to slap the shit out of you. Now, at that point, that's when you could have disengaged it and just been like, no, it's potting, but what you...
Hey, listen, Doughboy's lame. Straight up. Because why would this guy come to somebody that he's supposed to be cool with, trying to stir it up to my man, he said he gonna do this to you and that to you? If this supposed to be somebody that you have decent with and you supposed to be rocking with, you ain't supposed to come to him on that tight time trying to instigate it. That sound like somebody that was instigating. That's all. And that you was happy to instigate it because it wasn't geared towards you. If it was geared towards you, we know you'd be sitting there with your head down because you're really scared of Wack. So if it was geared towards you, we know how you would have been. Soft as drugstore cotton, the way you sound now.
You did was you said, nah, Doughboy, I'm real. Yeah. I ain't turning nothing down.
Yes, and what I meant was I'm not going to get bullied out of my opinion. Somebody can't just threaten me with violence and I'm just going to say, well, I guess I don't have that opinion anymore.
But that's not what you said.
But it is just because I said, hey, this is real. This is my real opinion, Doughboy. That's what I meant. I meant that this is how I truly feel. I'm not just trying to rage bait Wack. Everything I said, 95% of the shit that I ever spoke on Wack was, hey, I don't want no beef with Wack. I have these criticisms of how he operates, and then people would say, hey, I know how Wack is, his demeanor, how he tries to bully people. What if he punches you? What if he slaps you? What am I supposed to do? Tell them I'm gonna ball up? It's like, I said, no, I guess we're gonna fight. That's just what it is. If that's what the energy.
But that's the problem too, Mooseman. You didn't do nothing. You didn't even have the reaction that if you would have stood up for yourself, Wack would have backed down. Straight up. If you would have stood up for yourself and even made it look like you was going to stand your ground, even if you took an L, you were supposed to stand up for yourself, bro. Straight up. No matter if you took an L or not, you were supposed to stand up for yourself instead of sitting there and allowing Wack to do what he did, and you look real weak. That shit right there, like, come on, man. Boy got tightened up. You know, it was like you look like the cream puff in the situation that you was scared that he was hollering. He ain't even throw no punch at you. Man, I ain't intimidated with nobody get to hollering. Because I know most people that get to hollering like that, they ain't gonna do nothing. They just gonna holler.
Rings, but he threw a water bottle at me. He yelled at me. That wasn't enough for me to crash out and ruin my opportunity. And I don't think that's that crazy. Well, no. But I'm not going to get gaslit into like saying I'm going to pull up and beat up Wack. That was never the energy, and nobody could ever convince me of that.
However you want to think that it came off when you said it is fine. But I'm just telling you what my perception of it was. I was just trying to get clarity of how you felt about it. And then the energy that you gave was, nah, Doughboy, this is real. So it's almost like you were separating, like, no, this isn't an act. No, this ain't no problem.
Yes.
I'm not turning nothing down. That's what you said.
Yes, because I'm not going to just turn down because Wack is yelling at me and trying to bully me.
But when he was in your face, you turned down and you did everything that you said that you weren't.
No, because he didn't punch me. He didn't slap me. He threw a water bottle and yelled at me. And I'm going to say, hey, I'm going to diffuse the situation. I'm not going to escalate the situation. I'm trying to base this off logic and reason in that moment.
He did what Wack did. Wack was yelling, so he yelled back. It's like, you know, Wack didn't punch him. If he punched Moose in the face and Moose curled up in a ball and whatever, then like, okay, then people would have a point. But like, you did the same thing that Wack did, except you weren't the aggressor.
And there's nothing that I said. I never said when I see Wack, I'm going to do this. You guys keep trying to paint me as if I was saying like, I'm going to get Wack when I see him. No, the Wack is unreasonable in this situation, no matter how you try to spin it. And when he had the conversation with Adam, it was the same thing. He had to find reasons. He had to say that I'm Mexican. He had to say he had beef with. He had to say his homies kill Mexicans. He had to go on this racist tirade to justify him tripping on me because at the end of the day, he didn't have a good reason to.
Okay, what is he saying that's wrong? I would love to know. Okay.
You antagonized that man. You talk crazy about him. You didn't know him. Once he vocalized he don't know you and he don't mess with you, then at that point you should have just left it alone. But you did what you did and you kept it going. And then niggas make it seem like he's the bad guy. Wack was not wrong in the situation.
Come on, Doughboy, man. Straight do-boy. Come on, do-boy. Wack wasn't wrong in the situation. Wack wasn't this and Wack this and he did the right thing. And see, I'm gonna keep it real, straight up, right? Wack gonna do the same thing to Doughboy one day, because we already know when Wack see that you weak, that's how he handle you. And Doughboy is showing all signs of how weak he is. So of course, Wack gonna do the same thing to him when he get a chance. Something don't go his way, he gonna do the same thing because he see that he weak. You can feel that Wack was, right, which we all don't feel like that, but goddamn, you making it seem like he was correct about everything.
Was 1,000% wrong in that situation. Yeah.
Okay. He wasn't.
Until I say, when I see Wack, I'm going to slap the shit out of him. I never said that. I said I was criticizing Wack. And even when I said that we both work with the police thing, people trying to get on me for that, it was because he did the thing with the badge. And then he said, oh, well, my brother's a cop. This is just a buddy badge. That's what I was saying, is that if somebody's going to threaten my life and say, I'm going to put $1,500 on your head over an opinion, then I'm going to say, hey, I guess I'm going to call the police then. You know what I'm saying? That is past podcasting. That's past even fighting. That's saying you're going to get one of your homies to kill me over an opinion. And that's not reasonable. There's no way you can spin that to be reasonable.
And my whole thing is like, smart.
But that's how you know Wack is dumb people, right? Because this is the same line that he's been saying for years. It's the same line that Wack been saying for years, though. This is how you know he dumb people. whether it's true or not, right? For you to have the balls to say this to people across the internet, that let everybody know what you are. Whether you gonna do it or not, that's something that you do not say. That's something that is a crime. You telling somebody that 1,500 that you'll get something done to them and you'll get them erased, that's a crime. Straight up. You can't just be telling people no shit like that. But that's how you know them people. You know, them people allow Wack to do that, to make it look like he's a gangster. He's instructed and allowed to do that, because when people see that, they like, you know, the people that don't got the common sense, they like, man, shit, Wack's a gangster. You hear what he said? But people that got common sense, they like, oh yeah, this nigga the police. Yeah, he the police. There ain't no way you saying this for years and you never get questioned. So you just telling everybody you got a situation with that this is how much it costs for your life. Oh yeah. Yeah, you know what it is when it comes to that. Smash that like button and hit the subscribe button if you haven't already done so.
No, if we're talking about right and wrong,
right,
it is wrong, and it is also disrespectful to me to jump out of your seat and try to fight a fellow podcaster. Now, the thing that might be able to happen that would be able to justify jumping out of your seat to fight a podcaster is maybe if you guys had beef that was really, really serious, or if blood had been shed, or if like really direct threats had been made, or maybe if Mooseman presented himself like he was like some scary gang member or some shit like that, which from my perspective, absolutely none of those criteria is met. So from my perspective, I don't understand how anybody could ever sit there and say that Wack was in the right when Mooseman came peacefully, clearly was intending to have a podcast, and then Wack jumped out of his seat screaming and, you know, seemingly was going to fight him if I wasn't standing between him or if it didn't get broken up. Like, I don't understand the mental gymnastics that you have to do to be able to present Wack as if he's in the right in this situation.
And Wack asked me, he said, do you got a problem? I said, no, Wack, I'm here to podcast.
Yeah,
what does that mean?
As if it wasn't already literal.
So honest question. If there was somebody that you genuinely did not like, whoever that person is in your head, put that person in your head. You don't even have to tell me who it is.
Yeah.
If you did not like this person, and if Wack came to you and said, hey, I want to bring this person that you don't like, and you told him, like on somebody, not on no camera shit, and you told him, nah, I don't fuck with dude, I'm not fucking with him. And like, I really got a problem with this guy.
Yeah.
And then he brings him up here anyway.
You know what I would have done? I would have calmly asked him to leave.
Okay.
But you explained to me why Wack's route that he took is in any way justifiable in comparison to calmly asking him to leave, which if Wack had said, listen, Moose, I don't fuck with you. Adam, I have respect for your building, but I'd like to ask you to leave.
I would have been like, hey, it's y'all show.
It would have worked out, right?
Yeah. I just think that you can't ever really judge the reaction on how somebody
for sure you can. That is the biggest cop-out ever.
No, as disrespect. No, because if you slap somebody and then they shoot, I'm just giving a different example.
Okay.
If you slap somebody and then they shoot your ass, somebody could be like, that's an extreme overreaction against slap. Well, maybe you shouldn't slap that.
But you're going to go to prison for murder.
I'm just giving an example of you can't tell somebody how to react.
I know, but in society, we absolutely do, because there's laws that we say, hey, you can't react this way. It has to match the level of force. That did not match the level of force when I'm saying I'm trying to do a podcast with you, and now you're saying I'm going to put $1,500 on your head to get you killed.
But I think if somebody tells you,
you're too reasonable to have this stance.
I'm very reasonable. But what I'm saying is, if a man tells you,
your judgment,
if a man tell you he don't fuck with you and he don't want to rock with you, and then you still pull up, you put up, he don't, like I said in the other podcast, y'all don't know each other. He don't know if you playing. He don't know if you just.
But this is business, though. This is a business. This is why certain individuals don't want to do business with us. This is why Wack is blackballed from the music industry. This is why people don't like doing business with us. Because how do you resort to violence if you don't rock with somebody that didn't bring no violence to you? How did it go to that level just out the blue because you upset that you ain't want to sit down with it? So now it's justifiable for you to go at him on that level just because you ain't want to sit down with him? This why they don't be wanting to do business with us, man. This why we don't get the same opportunities as other people because of the mind frame. You can be upset at somebody, right? But thinking that you're going to get something done by enforcing violence on another person will get people not to deal with your ass. Now, I don't want to do no business with him. It's too much going on. I ain't for that. You can have a difference of opinion and not like somebody without resorting to violence from the door. Because niggas really don't want to go to jail. Wack don't want to go to jail. That's why he's telling on everybody. So why act like you want that? Why try to keep that energy?
Adam knows me.
You talk about Adam. I'm talking about Wack.
Adam's not going to bring somebody in that's going to kill Wack on the podcast.
Right, I wouldn't have done that with Comparator, which you ain't been around for a while. But like Comparator and him have
that low of
actual neighborhood beef, where and Comparator came on here and said a term that disses Wack's.
I know.
That is something that I wouldn't have done because, as much as I don't think Comparator is some killer or whatever, it's like that's a serious beef. That's real shit. This was not that. This was podcast.
Because he kept saying non-affiliate doesn't mean anything. He can harm me. Adam knows me. Adam knows that I'm not on that. Adam, he has that low of an opinion of Adam that he thinks that Adam would bring a Mexican in here to try to crash out on him, try to harm him, try to kill him.
Well, no, I just the way that I look at it was that he made his stance very vocal. Niggas ran that red light anyway. And shit, I don't think
that justifies anything.
I'm not saying it just for. I'm just saying that I don't think he was. How his reaction and whatever his reaction is, you can have whatever judgment you want to have on that. Okay, that's a different conversation. But do I feel like he was wrong in this situation? Absolutely not.
So is Wack wrong for popping up on like Spody Face with his ops? Because if Wack never did nothing like this, I would understand. But I think the thing that enraged him most is that he was the play now, and he wasn't the playmaker.
That's what it was. I do agree with that. Wack was upset because he was the play and wasn't the playmaker. Yeah. Oh, man, you brought him in, popped up on me. Now, if Wack was running the play on somebody, he would be all for it. But I do agree with that right there.
I think that's what really enraged, and that I'm Mexican. I think those were the two main points. Was he wasn't in on it, but he knew that I wasn't a threat. I think he was going to make an example out of me by turning up, going crazy.
No, I just don't understand
and he got
how
shit.
Anybody could have the attitude or opinion that what Wack did wasn't wrong. And Wack wants a pat on the back because he didn't punch him in the face, which, okay, I do appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you, Wack.
Right. However, jumping out of your seat and screaming and knocking over the cameras and all this, it's just like, how in what world could that ever be considered a reasonable response to what actually happened, which is a non-affiliate who is in no way a threat, who clearly does not have any intention of harming you, who clearly, if you were to start fighting him, obviously, I think, if we were betting men, that we would probably put money on Wack to win, right?
He's definitely got more phase than me.
I don't want to offend you or anything, but that seems clear to me. Not a threat in any way. I don't understand how any thinking sentient being could possibly have the opinion that Wack doing that is okay. In fact, I feel like if we were to poll 1,000 people who don't know Wicked100 and ask them what they think about that situation, that you would probably struggle to find one person who would say that the person who jumped out of their seat and was threatening to beat up the other guy is not in the wrong.
Well, I just think that to quantify,
I'm gonna be real, I feel like you're
straight up
doing mental gymnastics because you want to stay on Wack's good side.
I don't.
I have so much more of a reason to stay on Wack's good side, and I still have to come on here and say what's right and wrong.
You can't be honest.
Hey, listen. This is business, right? The boy wasn't no threat. There wasn't no reason for it to go there. you know, there wasn't no reason at all. No matter how Wack felt about the shit, there was no reason for it to go to that level. And we can all see Duboy wants to be on Wack's good side. Yeah, he wants to be in Wack's good graces. So he's gonna say whatever to make it look good. Yeah, I was riding with you, Wack. I feel what you're saying. Yeah. You can tell when he was on Wild 'N Out, he wasn't getting paid nothing. Yeah. They said they don't pay him too much. They barely feed him. You can say he was the one there all the damn time.
About people that he likes.
It's not even about it. Why every time I give my opinion, people think I'm like dick riding?
Because it's not making logical sense. That's
no, I'm not compromising.
Because you are. That's why.
And I just know that he said what he said, and then the situation went how it went, and I just don't feel like he was wrong.
But even what you just said right there doesn't really address the fact that, like, trying to fight somebody in a workplace who's in no way a threat to you is just really, really inappropriate.
And face to face, he said, "Do you have a problem?" I said, "No, Wack. I'm here to criticize your podcasting."
I think the easier way to find the landing point would be just to find wherever you would feel disrespected, and then take that logic of it. And if you felt disrespected, what would you do? Now, obviously, you're probably not going to react like
I can give you a really, really good example is, so there's this guy who's like a prolific Twitter troll who posts like a lot of fake news and a lot of stuff. His name is Dom Lucre.
Okay.
A lot of people are like way too on Twitter know who this guy is. And at one point, a couple of years ago, he took a screenshot of my wife's TikTok where she was getting ready for Halloween with me and she was breastfeeding her kid. And it's a whole TikTok with all these little clips or whatever. And there's like a 1 second clip of her and I, and we're wearing like Sesame Street makeup and she's breastfeeding our kid.
Okay.
And when this came out, 0% of the people who saw it thought that it was offensive in any way. It was just like some regular ass parent shit. And so this dude screenshotted that one part with the breastfeeding and posted it on Twitter and said that my wife was selling this porn in which she was breastfeeding her daughter on her OnlyFans. Now, to anybody who's even thought about this for more than a few seconds, OnlyFans obviously doesn't allow you to sell any content or post any content involving children in any way. And this content was removed from YouTube for disinformation because it was not true. Now, I was doing a podcast with a couple of guys and they brought this dude with them and they allegedly didn't know that I had this issue with this guy because I never even talked about it publicly. Well, I guess I did talk about it on here, but not in like extreme depth
you didn't
or whatever.
go on a rant or nothing.
A lot of people like probably didn't know about it, whatever. So I walk in here and he's sitting there, and I actually posted the clip on Twitter a couple weeks ago. But I say to him, I go, "What's your name?" Shook his hand. He said his name. Immediately, it kind of clicks in my head, and I'm like, "Wait, that's you?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I said, "Okay, I would like to ask you to leave."
And that's a much more heinous.
Yeah, right. That guy did something that's so much worse than what Mooseman did. And yet somehow, and granted, I am the owner of the building, so it kind of like makes sense. And, you know, I've been sued in recent memory for violence taking place at my office. But I was able to summon what?
Because of Wack. You've been sued for recent violence because of Wack. Wack brings a lot of drama to the establishment. And I see, like, you know, Adam likes the content, but it's costing you at the same time.
I thought was a very, very mature reaction towards somebody who I would like to hurt in a physical manner.
And if Wack said that, I would say, "Hey, man, you got it. I'm not going to push the issue. I see that Wack is not playing the content.
You did offer to leave.
Yeah, because he said, "Get your BS out of here." Right. So I said, if you want me to leave, Wack, I'll leave, man. But I'm not going to fight you in the office. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to fight you at No Jumper right now when you got, dudes pulling up saying, "Yo, we violate people" to me as soon as I walk out of the podcast. So it's like, obviously I was going to be the next J. Reed Alley victim, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not going to expose myself to that if I don't have to. I'm going to diffuse the situation so I could,
the person who's in the wrong is always going to be the person who, tries to be violent in the workplace in the face of things that are not worthy of violence. Now, if Mooseman had said, when I see Wack, I might just kill him.
Because that's how he's trying to make it.
And then Wack did what he did. Okay, boom. I get that. That makes sense.
Never did I ever say nothing like that.
Then Moose seems like an imminent threat, and you're allowed to like do whatever you want.
Right.
And it just wasn't even close to that. And the weird thing about it is that I feel like Wack has so many yes men in his life that are willing to tell him that he didn't do anything wrong, that to him, I'm the only person who's willing to say that what he did was wrong. And to me, that is just unthinkable. There is absolutely no world in which what he did could be considered acceptable.
But do you, well, how about this? Happy medium, split the baby. Do you at least admit that you played a part in his reaction? At least a small part in the way he reacted?
I think I created a scenario that was supposed to kind of trigger him. But in no way do I think that his reaction was an appropriately sized reaction.
And then that's fair. There was a little bit that could have been differently on this side, a little bit different that could have been
And I was like so charitable to Wack after when we sat down. I'm like, hey, man, I see what you're saying. I could have called you right away. You know what I'm saying? I could have hit you direct line. I was very charitable. I wasn't like, no, you're so wrong. But it's like at the end of the day, bro, you're talking about putting $1,500 on my head over a fucking podcast.
And even like
I never said, yo, when I see Wack, I'm gonna get him. I'm gonna get him. It's like, yo, you know that Wack is pretty unreasonable at times. This was podcast I'm sitting on. If he gets at you that way when you're just trying to voice your opinion, what's gonna happen? I guess we're gonna fight. Yeah, we're gonna fight.
But that's another thing that he was saying when he was here, though. Like, if you don't know somebody, you don't know how far.
Bro, we talk on people we don't know every single day.
No, you didn't hear
we go through the topics.
You didn't hear what I just said. If you don't know somebody, you don't know how far they're willing to take it. You don't know how professional they are. That's what
I get that. Yeah. If you kill people over podcast opinions, you scare me.
Man,
I promise you that he got it.
Dumb shit every day.
I get that, but are those reasonable, normal people, Doughboy?
No, but that's the point of what it was saying. If you don't know a person, you don't know what they
I know, but you don't know Spody, and you was talking about catching a fade with them.
But did I disrespect him?
Yes. Spody pulled up to the news the next day and was saying, "Where's Doughboy without his glasses on?"
Right. Okay. And I talked to Spody. Me and Spody have talked.
Exactly, and he was reasonable.
Right.
The Wack is not reasonable. That's my whole thing. This is not reasonable.
Okay. All right.
Look at it.
Agree to disagree.
Yeah.
Look at Doughboy. All right. It took all that for you to have an understanding about the situation. He was glazing Wack the whole time. It took all that for him to have any type of reasoning that Wack wasn't right. Well, I tell you.
But you can't really still agree with what you were originally saying, right?
No, I see what you're saying. That's the thing in the conversation. I can hear what you're saying and be like, you know what? I see what you're saying. I can see how a logical person in the moment. Okay, cool. I can also see that had this situation not been created, he probably wouldn't have reacted like that. So I can see both sides of it.
And if Wack didn't run plays,
just to argue, like I hear what you're saying.
If Wack didn't run plays, I would have way more sympathy. If the Wack was just like, not popping up with people on podcasts the same exact way, I would understand. But when Adam brought that up, he just said he was going to knock Adam out too, and that just shows the level of unreasonableness I think that we're dealing with. And Wack got it. I won't criticize him if he's willing to put $1,500 on my head over it. That's all good.
Wack was like being so, and I know, and like ultimately keeping you away from Wack is like whatever, because we're used to
everybody stays away from Wack.
We already
have the list.
We have this policy for like the vast majority of the No Jumper hosts that we have to avoid them being anywhere near Wack.
Right.
And so that's not really like anything new. But like when we were on the phone,
y'all hear that? Adam just exposed that they have a policy that he has to keep majority of the hosts away from Wack. Then that's wild. Like, come on. That's wild. You got to keep them all away from Wack. He can't be around the people, and he talks stuff about all these people, but there's a policy that he can't be around them. This is why he won't run into these individuals, because the policy says he can't be around them. So of course he gonna talk slick about all the hosts, any gang member that's a host, because he's never gonna run into them. The building has to be cleared when he comes up there because he doesn't want to have that smoke that he portrays to have all the time. He don't want that. That right there exposed it all. The reason why Wack don't run into these dudes is because the policy that he got with Adam is to never run into these guys. You got to make sure I don't run into them. This is why Brick Baby and Wack worked at the same location for 2 years, and they never, not one time, ran into each other up there. Because honestly, right? If Wack would have ran into Brick Baby, I think it would have been fireworks. No cap. Facts. Straight up. I think if Wack would have ran into Brick Baby, it would have been fireworks. Brick Baby was coming up there with that fire. All that hoop and holler shit, it wouldn't have worked with Brick. Just being real, I think it would have been some real live fireworks. And Wack would have been on the other side of that shit.
Early in the morning on Saturday, we had just this insane conversation where he's saying, like, Adam, if I wanted to hit Moose, you couldn't have stopped me.
I think that's true.
And
that's
I said,
true. Most definitely.
I'm like, but I did stop you. Or like, but you did stop. And he's like, well, you couldn't have stopped me if you wanted to. And I said, but you stopped. And it felt like I was the only reason that you stopped was like out of respect for me or whatever.
For the respect, not because he thought you're a tough opponent. It's because he has respect for Adam.
And this is my weird whole thing too, is that it's like, all right, so like Lil Jon and fucking Baby Cupid Rob are like Wack affiliates that anybody who's like really knows about Wack knows who they are. These are serious dudes.
Yeah. They came up to me after the pod. They say, hey man, you know, we really violate people. Then they seen Wack. Wack was,
man, they ain't no damn serious dudes. They ain't no serious dudes. Straight up, if they was that serious, they would have been got active on some shit and they would have been locked up some damn where. They ain't that serious. Niggas that serious catch cases, man. These niggas is catching petty cases, stealing out the store, stealing out somebody's house, getting caught with some little shit. They ain't serious. What are you talking about? Niggas sat in jail for a week, 2-3 weeks with $1,000 bail. Nigga, you ain't that serious. Nah, you ain't that serious, man. They just, followers. That's all. They just follow anything Wack say and whatever he do so that they can be a part of Wack. They know Wack the police, but they don't mind because they running around with it. Straight up. Smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, man. Shout out to all y'all.
Chill with me at that point. Obviously, he doesn't fuck with me still, but at that point, he was chill with me.
That like those guys that it wouldn't be beneath them to fucking beat you up for something that you said on a podcast, like as if Wack couldn't handle that duty on his own.
Yeah, I think
as if there needed to be a bunch more guys here to help take part. I mean, it's just like, it's just so silly. And I feel like I'm being asked by people to like have a lot more sympathy for that viewpoint than I'm willing to actually have. Because again, like I try to be as logical and reasonable as possible. And to me, ultimately, the person in the wrong is the person who starts the fight, not the person who talked shit. That
lets you know how petty they are, though. That lets you know how petty they are. Why y'all didn't run down on Big U like that, man? Why didn't y'all pull up on Big U? Y'all told Mooseman we violate shit. But y'all ain't pull up on Big U? Why y'all ain't pull up on somebody that's like that out there? Y'all sent the nigga to jail. Y'all sent the nigga. Why didn't y'all pull up on Loose Cannon? Loose Cannon was talking filthy to Wack. Why didn't y'all pull up on Loose Cannon? if y'all so like that, because y'all knew Wack was setting that man up to get indicted by the feds, man. All right, we got to sit back on this one. We ain't doing nothing. Y'all was scared anyway. Y'all seen Luce was on that. Y'all seen that Luce was on that, man. Y'all was scared. But then turn around and y'all see somebody that ain't on that. You know we violate shit. Violate what? Man, y'all ain't violate no niggas in the street. Go violate some niggas in the street so they can do what they do in the street. And then we'll see how active y'all really are. We'll see if y'all really like that. Go violate the niggas that's on that. I can't stand jokers like Wack and them dudes, man. I can't stand them because y'all tough with niggas that ain't tough. Go get tough with the niggas that don't got shit to lose, that ain't working on shit, that's willing to go there because they ain't got shit to lose. Go get active with them. The boy working on something. He trying to build something for himself. But these are the type of people that people like Wack want to get active with. A nigga that is ready to crash out, y'all not going to be on that with them because y'all can't match the energy. Y'all fake tough guys. Y'all are fake tough guys, man. Fake. Go get on it with the people that don't got nothing to live for, that ain't got nothing to lose, and they willing to crash out. I bet y'all want to cop a plea on that. I bet y'all don't want it to go there. But somebody that's trying to build something that's just coming into the space, y'all feel like y'all want to intimidate that individual and it make you look strong. No, it make you look weak. Honestly, that shit really make you look weak. It don't make you look strong.
Maybe led to the fight. And listen, people are free to fight wherever the fuck they want all over the world. It's just at No Jumper, you're not allowed to fight anybody. And if you do, you're probably never going to be asked back. And with the whole Wack situation, it's like, I guess he didn't actually do it. So it's like, we can't really be like that mad about it. But
come on, Adam. I got to disagree with you on this, Adam. I got to disagree with you because Wack been causing violence at your building for a while now. Got you a lawsuit. He brought Loose Cannon up there, but then try to get you to agree that Loose Cannon came there for you and not him. Wack caused the disturbance there consistently. So I gotta disagree with you on that. When Jay Reed and Marciano got beat up outside, that was because of Wack. It all happened because of Wack. Wack was trying to get you to engage in a fake network called Dosh Network that doesn't even exist, like a lot of the things he does. And he went too far with Loose Cannon. That shit was all Wack for. So Wack caused that situation at No Jumper, and you didn't get rid of it. He likes the content. Yeah, he liked the content. So yeah, he is a part of the problem because he likes the content. Smash that like button, hit that subscribe button.
like, obviously he came very close in that moment to like, oh, okay, we're never going to do another podcast again because I can't trust you to be in my building.
Right. And the more you explain it, like I do see your logic in it, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, because you know there are people in the building that do have serious problems with each other, and you didn't perceive this as one of those. So in that sense, I can, you know, cut your little slack. I'm like, yeah, I can see that you didn't think it was gonna go there. You know what I'm saying? But then
it shouldn't have.
Yeah. But I'm glad it. But one thing I can say, if there is a silver lining, I'm glad that even through all of it, through the whole yelling, through the bottle getting thrown, through all of that, We were able to sit down. We were able to pod. They were able to chop it up afterwards.
Yeah, that's why I don't know why he still doesn't like me, because he seemed like we're chill. He shook my hand, you know.
That showed growth on everybody.
And my level of trust that the situation was under control was strong enough that I left before the podcast was even over.
Exactly. Yeah, we sat there for another 30, 45 minutes.
Yeah, I was so certain that it was going to be fine that I just left and like went home because I had to go. I forget what I was doing Thursday.
So I think it was something with your.
And then I just kind of got lectured by Wack for the rest of the pod, which was fine. You know, I could tell that he was not willing. He did not want to debate anymore. He was not on that. I could see the energy that he was bringing. So it was just, you know, diffuse the situation, let Wack get his shit off. I get it, man. You know,
that was something that was dope about it. That was something that, like, at the end of it, niggas could sit down as men.
But he said he still don't want to be around me, so which I don't get, because I told him, you know, it's all good, man. I hear you.
It's weird how that kind of came together.
And now you got another op.
No. We're not going to talk about him. We're not going to talk about him.
Oh, you don't
just a random.
Look at Doughboy. He trying to give somebody clout that don't need it so that he can, you know, bring up something to have some controversy about. I'm telling you, like, I'm glad that I be rocking Dolo. I'm glad that I rock Dolo because I couldn't deal with that shit. Yeah, I couldn't deal with that, man. I don't even like that kind of energy around me. You know, I want to commentate on the things I want to commentate, but I can't stand a man that's not a man. Like, go ahead, man. Go get away from me with that, bro. Get away from me, man. Have a strong opinion about what you want to have an opinion about, but don't have the opinion of somebody else that really don't even like you. Straight up. Wack be using all these jokers that he deal with. Dude is a selfish, self-centered individual. He don't care about these people, man. That shit, wow.
Bum that's trying to get some clout off my name.
Is it a Mexican gang member?
No, it's a roach, I would say.
Oh, that one.
Yeah.
I don't even know why that happened, but I guess. He is the one that messaged me and told me to not fuck with you.
And we were cool before that, which was weird. That's why we're having issues, because I had no issue with him before that message was sent.
Yeah, telling somebody not to hire somebody is crazy work.
Yeah, when we're supposed to be cool, and all I've ever done is try to help that fool out.
Right.
You know?
I do that all the time.
Yeah. But it's all good.
You do that all the time?
I mean, here and
I got disowned by the No Paperwork Pod. They said I can't come back because I said I got 911 on speed dial.
What Instagram account was that posted on? Because I would like to watch it.
I think they did. They said it on their pod, or they be doing like I'm not sure. They did it on like sometimes they do kind of the split screen YouTube collab kind of stream off their phones, or it looks like maybe, and they said I'm not welcome back, which it's all good, you know.
There's got to be
I mean, these are like prison dudes, so it's like I understand. But when I said I work with the police because all these Mexican fools are tripping on me, was me saying, if you're willing to kill me over a podcast opinion, yes, I will call the police. That was the extent in which I work with the police. I have actually never called the police in my life, believe it or not, guys, you know, but at this point in my life at 31, I'm not willing to die over a podcast opinion. So if you're willing to take it to that over me just having an opinion on a podcast, yes, I have to employ the police, because I'm not sliding on people that are stealing my car like Doughboys, you know, with Spody. It's like, I'm not, you know, if somebody harms my mama, I'm not going to slide around the hood looking for him. You know what I mean? It's just like at this point,
that's like, it's important to let everybody know that you will call the cops, like from my perspective as well, because it's like, that kind of stops a lot of street dudes in their tracks when they realize, like, oh, this guy is gonna, like, think about the Pooh Shiesty and Gucci thing. Pooh Shiesty would not have done that to Gucci if he thought that Gucci was going to talk to the cops. The fact that he did, I understand, was very, very upsetting to Pooh Shiesty. But like, if Gucci, like, you know, Gucci has something to lose by saying that he would call the cops. I have nothing to lose because I'm not a proclaimed gang member. So I make it clear all the time, like, yeah, if you pull up on me, then I'm going to do what I have to do. But then I'm also going to tell the cops every single thing that I know about the situation. And I have absolutely no shame about that. And I have absolutely nothing against the police at all. Right. If anything, I think that they are criminally underfunded and there should be more cops on the street.
Yeah.
Now, Adam saying that right there, I do feel like with the guys that are fake street guys, you know, if you tell them you're gonna call the police, oh, they get scared. But if we really think about it, right? if something goes to that level where it's serious, the police is going to get involved anyway. They're going to get involved. So I don't understand why niggas portray these certain images when the end results is the police getting involved. If we being real, it's so much technology in this world today. Most of the time, the police is going to know, get involved because of the technology. So why act like that isn't the end result? Very rarely do you get away with things in today's world. Very, very rarely.